Welcome to the subject and main verb grammar mini lesson. All right, so a lot of you might remember this from elementary school. Hopefully you do, but this is just a quick review of subjects and main verbs. So every complete sentence contains two parts at the bare minimum. It has a subject and what's called a predicate. Now, from now on, we're really just going to call that the main verb because I'm only interested in you identifying the simple subject and the simple predicate, which usually boils down to one or two words. So the subject is what or whom the sentence is about, while the predicate, or that main verb, tells something about the subject. So let's take a look at this example sentence. Judy and her dog run on the beach every morning. So whenever you're identifying the subject and the main verb, I always want you to find the main verb first. I find it's a little bit easier than trying to figure out which noun feels like it's the most important. So first you find the verb, which in this case is run. In a lot of our examples, we're going to be focused on action verbs because they're a little bit easier to identify at first. So find that verb, which is run. Then you make a question by placing who or what in front of it. So we find run, then we say who or what runs, and the answer in this case for our complete subject is Judy and her dog. All right, so let's try one. We spilled popcorn on the floor. What is the verb of this sentence? So our verb is spilled. And now we have to find our subject. So who or what spilled popcorn? We spilled popcorn on the floor, so we would be our subject. All right, so I want you to try to find those main verbs in these sentences below. I'd like you to pause the video and find those main verbs. All right, so did you correctly identify the main verbs? So in this case, we had broke, asked, carried, and arrived. Okay, now I want you to pause the video again and find the simple subjects in the sentences below. So go ahead and pause the video. Okay, so hopefully now you found those simple subjects based on those same verbs that you just identified. And in this case, we're asking those questions, who or what broke? Brother broke. Uncle Bob asked, and in this case, Uncle Bob is the complete noun because that's his proper name, so it's a proper noun. Soldiers carried, and who or what arrived? The babysitter arrived late. Okay, so here's a tricky subject. So when someone is giving an order or command, the subject is implied. So for example, close the door. Who or what needs to close the door? So the answer here is you. You is our implied subject. And it used to be that in writing you would have to say you, comma, close the door. But that takes a long time when you're trying to order someone around. So it's become acceptable to omit and take out the implied subject of you, and now we can just say the command. Okay, helping verbs and contractions are also a little bit confusing. So in authentic pieces of writing, we usually have more than one subject and main verbs. So let's take a look at these three sentences. I could have gone to the game, but I chose to stay home instead. There's a light over at the Frankenstein place, and I didn't want to go home. So sometimes you have helping verbs. I could have gone to the game, but I chose to stay home instead. Could is what's called a conditional helping verb. That means it might happen. Have is used in the perfect tense. So perfect tense, all that means is that it is something that you have done completely. It's perfect. So could have is also part of your verb. They are helping verbs to kind of let us know about tense and let us know that it's not actually happening. You also don't want to forget contractions. So in our sentence, there's a light over at the Frankenstein place. The contractions represent words too. So in this case, theirs is a contraction for there is. Is your main verb. And finally, sometimes we have contractions and helping verbs. So in our last example sentence, I didn't want to go home. Sometimes you have both a helping verb and a contraction. Did emphasizes the main verb want, but you need to be careful because not is not a verb. So in this case, our complete main verb would be did and want. Okay, so the next thing that you're going to do is you're going to click on that link that says Google Form. You are going to complete the Google Form for some initial subject and main verb practice. And then in class, we're going to use the book that we're currently reading to identify some authentic pieces of writing and find the subjects and main verbs. So thanks for watching the video.